Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Restoration Rundown Podcast, the podcast that's dedicated to you, the restoration business owner. We are just a couple weeks into 2024. We're super excited about everything we have coming up, especially today's guest. He's somebody, if you haven't heard about him, you're going to want to learn a little bit more about them, but you definitely have heard of the company that he's with and that he represents. They're great. We've had a couple people from them come on before, so please join me in welcoming Mr. Mike Balzano from BNP Media, the group publisher. And if you don't know about BNP Media, you may have heard of just this little thing called R&R Magazine. I don't know if you're in the restoration or cleaning industry, maybe you've heard of that, or maybe the Experience events. Yep. Either way, this is the man behind the brand. Mike, thank you so much for coming on and giving us your time today. I really appreciate it. How's everything going so far this year?
You know what? So far this year, it's been great. I heard the other day that there was an old Seinfeld episode that you have to stop saying Happy New Year like on January 3rd. I think Costanza said that. I don't buy that. We keep it going, keep the party going for a while. I don't know, but so far so good. And it's great. Always great to see you, sir. And great to be here.
Yeah, appreciate it. Hey, listen, I always love a Seinfeld reference. And you know what? Sometimes Costanza's got like 50% of really good things. I think that when you pull back the veil and realize that's really Larry David back there talking, it makes it even funnier.
Right.
And it, you know, it's one of those things that those guys really say all the stuff we kind of feel or think in our heads, you know, when we're feeling a little irritable, you know, and somebody tells you Happy New Year, or the good one is see you next year on December 29th. And you kind of get that internal chuckle. I think that's all been part of Seinfeld. So definitely appreciate that reference. I'm a big movie, TV show guy, reference wise myself. So good to hear that you're here and you're doing well in 2024. I want to really, you know, again, thank you for your time. I know how busy you are. For those of the people out there that are living in a cave and they don't really know about R&R or BNP or any of the things that I mentioned that you're involved in, could you please just give us a little background about who you are? Okay. And then, you know, let's talk a little bit about BNP, what they've got going on with R&R and the Experience events.
Yeah, the road that I took to get to R&R and the Experience was a good story. It's a long one. I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but I was born as no, I'm kidding.
You can do the yada yada yadas in there. Remember, we're going on the Seinfeld team.
I'm from Northeast Ohio, a long-suffering Cleveland Browns fan and Cleveland sports fan, and
you're not suffering anymore though.
No, not this year, man.
You got it. You got something good going on. I'm a suffering Dolphins fan, so I'm looking with googly eyes at you guys with what's going on.
We were hoping, and not to go too deep into that road, but we were hoping the Dolphins would win last week. I could drive. Now I'm down in Naples, Florida, and so we want to drive across Alligator Alley to see that game, but it's not going to be there anyway.
Sorry about that, man.
We regret that's okay, Benjamin. My wife, we've been married about 25 years. I met her in B2B media sales up in Cleveland, and she followed me to BNP Media at some point, and she was actually the sales manager for R&R for about 8 years. I left the company briefly. And that worked out to my advantage. I mean, because our company has a nice policy of the HR doesn't really fond of people managing each other if you're married. No. And our mutual boss got promoted to a big brand at BNP, and I kind of vacuumed into her spot, including R&R, which is kind of nice. It was kind of sad that all the big stars of yesterday weren't here anymore, but it was a nice challenge and to take it over. That was about 2 years ago, and I think I love where the brand's at right now. I think our audience is growing really by the day. I'm very proud of it. Thanks in no small part to you. We have some great contributors, including you and the Ironclad Marketing Minute, Benjamin. And that's where we're going with this. I'm getting a lot of mileage on these podcasts, telling people, look, I've been in this industry for less than 2 years. I'm never going to tell you I'm some big expert at this. I'm learning every day. Knew more than I did yesterday, right? Knew more than I did 2 years ago. But we're surrounding ourselves with experts like yourself and other people that are. That's my kind of management. I like it. Long-windedly, the big story was about a year and a half ago. We were in discussions with Larry Cooper, who owned the Experience, and he decided to sell it to our company, BNP Media. So, as of this event coming up is my shameless plug, on April 3rd through the 5th in Chattanooga, Tennessee, at the Chattanooga Convention Center, the Experience will be there, and as well as our traditional September Labor Day experience in Vegas too.
Yeah, that's awesome. I appreciate that background. And R&R Magazine, restoration remediation, directly tied into the restoration world. You know, I love it. As far as the Experience events, I had the pleasure of being at the last one in Fort Lauderdale, not the last one, but the one before your Las Vegas this past fall. And it was great. It was a really good opportunity to meet a lot of people that I've been following on LinkedIn that I actually learned from, you know, so, you know, much like yourself, as far as the restoration world goes, listen, I am a contractor, but we're in a different niche. You know, we're in a site development world. So I really enjoy being at these events and meeting people like you and just trying to get Anissa and Kevin from Firehouse Education were there. I've learned so much just by attending that experience event. And fortunately, I also got to speak and run a workshop on marketing, which is really cool. So no, I can't say enough about what you guys have going on. Kind of exciting. I'm a little surprised that Larry's gone. It's a little weird. I know we had him on multiple times leading up to the other experience, but I guess, you know, at Larry's young age, it's time to enjoy the retirement a little bit, maybe, and you know, hustle and bustle on the events, right?
I feel like that, and I can't want to speak for Larry, but I think that's exactly what it was. He did this for over 20 years, 2 times a year. It's a lot of work, man. And they grew into great events, and he was financially rewarded for that, as he should be. It was very good. We've taken the role, and to touch on what you talked about a couple of minutes ago, I think that this event has been hammered into my It's been hammered into my brain how hands-on learning is the key to it. Yes. And it's absolutely true. The spring show has more hands-on than the larger show in Las Vegas, but it just separates itself from all the other events. And I was a little incredible. I heard them like, does it though, really? Until I got my hands dirty, no pun intended. I realized it does. It does. We people get in there, they love to go into the cleaning pavilion, learn about cleaning. The flood house, which we're now calling the restoration pavilion. There's some breaking news. Some good symmetry with the two.
Spoiler alert.
Same thing. Yeah, it's not that big a deal, but I think it's just good symmetry with the cleaning pavilion, and the people like to come in and do it. And I'm happy to be a part of it. This presents us with an opportunity to honor the past and also bring in some new ideas. And we're listening to the attendees and the exhibitors and what they want, and I think they're going to be happy with what they find.
Yeah, you know, and I've been a huge proponent for everybody out there that has a restoration company, or you have employees, or you're in a position, fortunately for yourself, that you can send people to these events. It's the information, the networking is invaluable that you get, you know, and so we're huge proponents of doing so, and just trying to educate yourself, educate the industry, because, you know, there's some things changing in the industry right now, and in every industry, especially in the service-based industries, construction. You know, there's a generational problem that's happening right now, and it's getting worse and worse. Speaking to some peers in the industry, the numbers are astounding. I think there's a need of somewhat of 500,000 restorers in this year moving forward, and they're retiring at a rate of like 180,000. So there's a huge gap in that labor pool, and that's been something that's been popping up a lot. And I know we talked about this, and you mentioned this in the pre-show questionnaire, that's one of the big problems you guys are seeing in the industry. So how does, you know, in your opinion, how do these events, the experience, the people that are there, your experience, the restoration, remediation, what's going on to try to help bridge that gap and try to bring a little bit more awareness to this industry for maybe the younger generations, which is, I believe, is going to be the big issue here? Yeah,
for sure. And I think that, and I've said on other podcasts, I have an AARP card too. So I'm not like looking to push the old guys out. That's not the point of this at all. I'm not going to go anywhere, but no, and you're exactly right. It's not just our industry. This is across the board. I remember in the 2000s hearing Mike Rowe talk about the skilled worker shortage. And back in the 70s and 80s when I was growing up, and the advertisements were like, well, Bob's got to work in a factory now. You know, and you don't want to be like Bob. They made it look just horrible, you know, and we all went to college, and which is fine. But I mean, there's some great opportunities now. We're realizing now that, you know what, there's nothing wrong with this a hands-on job and getting involved. With great money and great opportunity. In our industry, I think a lot of and I saw this at the experience and stuff, all of our leaders are moving on in time, you know, and that's nothing wrong with it. They're great. But I would love to see them, and they're doing a good job. I think the key to this is just be mentors. Get the younger people that are taking the leap with us in this industry, because there's a gap. But we could get those young millennials in, and then definitely the group after that. We're going to be fine as long as they realize this is actually fun. You know, I started my own podcast. We started our podcast for the experience about a month or so ago, called Unlocking the Experience, and just want people to get to know the people who are exhibiting and attending. I ask everybody every week, hey, why did you get in this industry? And to a person, Benjamin, they say, I got in this industry because I think I wanted to help people. I just want to help people. This is, you know, there's disasters going on. And I feel like and I just thought that was just beautiful. That was a great thing. And I think if that is your why, you're going to kill them. You're going to kill it. You're going to you have to do it for the right reasons. And the younger people who are coming in, I'm sure have that same attitude, or they would be on TikTok They probably still are.
Right.
But I think that's the key. And we're seeing that happen. You know what? And I apologize for going on this one, but
no, keep going, man.
We looked at the people who always come to the experience. I mean, Jeff Jones, Microbial Warrior, and Howard Partridge, and these guys, and they're legends, man. And I kind of asked them, who are you mentoring now? And they, maybe not those two specific gentlemen, people like that. And they told me and this and that. And those people are going to come and speak now a little bit too. So we're going to do our best in bridging the gap a little. And got some new speakers this year. Not that they were bad. They were awesome, but just some new people in that I think people are going to be happy to see.
That's awesome. You touched on something that is kind of cool. And you mentioned figuring out what your why is. I know that I just sent in an article, or we just published an article with you at R&R Magazine that I wrote basically about that, about your goals, and really having a goal is a non-starter if you don't have a reason why, and having a career and doing anything you do in this world, you got to figure out a strong why. So I thought that was pretty cool. And it's really refreshing to hear that some of these OGs in the industry are taking it upon themselves to mentor. And if you're a restoration business owner or a business owner in general, that should be your mentality. One, figure out your why you're doing this in the first place, but also realize that you got to have a succession plan in place. And to do so, you have to have the right systems, processes. Part of those systems are people in place to do so. So the recruiting aspect and getting employees in is very important. So developing the right culture to promote that education within your company is really important. It's important to us here with the marketing agency and my construction company. And I know that with all the new stuff you guys been bringing to the table with the experience in R&R, I think that's at the forefront of what you guys are doing as well. Is that right?
Yeah, that's exactly what we're trying to do. And we're trying to embellish that as much as we can and embrace that, I should say. I think that it all begins in media. It all begins with the content. Like I said, I've been doing this since the mid '90s, and it's a three-legged stool. Even back in the 1800s, you get the good content, or whatever they called it back then. The good content brings the audience, which brings the advertising, and that's it. And if one of those legs falls off, you kind of crumble. So keeping the good content is what draws the younger people to come in, and if they have the proper why, they're going to be attached to that. And that goes
100%. No, I love that. And that's, again, why I feel so honored and privileged to be able to help and work with you in R&R and doing the things we're doing with the video stuff here and there and the articles that we could submit when we can. And when I can make it, coming out to these events and, helping you guys out there.
Well, we gave you a hall pass for Chattanooga. I don't know if you want to talk about that. We'll let you slide. You want to get into that or no?
Yeah, I got a hall pass, I guess, from Chattanooga. I guess you guys were gonna, we were gonna go speak out there. Ironclad Restoration. We're gonna run a workshop, but fortunately and unfortunately, I won't be able to make it. We're expecting a child probably on the day of. So I've been working for 2 months to try to convince my family to let me go, and it just didn't work out. And I'm really disappointed. I'm gonna be, grouchily watching along and watching and seeing who's taking my spot, but looking forward to the Vegas one. Hopefully we don't have any other surprises.
We'll be okay by that. No, that's Vegas is always an enormous event too. That's always a killer show. But you have a pass for this one. That's great. Our editor-in-chief, Mildred, is going to be going on the maternity leave herself in about a month. So she's going to be leaving.
Wow.
For months. Yep. That came quick.
All them babies. Hey, talking about the younger generation and getting the wine, bring them into the industry. I got another.
Right. We got numerous stores being born with you and Mildred. That's great.
Yeah. No, and congratulations to her. She was awesome. I was really fortunate to be able to hang out with her a little bit at the last Experience event and learn about what she's got going on. We had her on the podcast a few months ago. So you guys are lucky to have somebody like that in there. I think that there's some really exciting things going to be coming down in the next couple of years. So speaking of exciting things, talk to me a little bit about R&R Magazine. I know some people in the audience, the tens of people that listen to this or watch it on YouTube, who may not be familiar with R&R, even though it's the oldest and biggest publication out there in this industry. Give me a little background on it. And then, maybe if you want to do some spoilers about what you guys have coming up pretty soon, because I know there's been some pretty big changes with R&R recently, right?
Well, I mean, what we're doing is we're trying to add as many, and touch on this briefly, like yourself, as many experts to our, I hate to use the word stable. It sounds like horses.
Stable's good.
our lineup.
Well, we're like thoroughbreds.
You're right. You are like thoroughbreds. We've got some great stuff coming up. I mean, R&R has been around. Forgive me, I don't know the exact year it started. It's been at least 15 years. It's been in business. We had a cleaning magazine BNP had before I was here.
Yeah.
Then they started R&R, and they shuttered the cleaning magazine. It all just became R&R. Now, with us buying the Experience and us being in charge, R&R, I should say, we had to really up our cleaning game to maybe cover the whole gamut of what the Experience does. Just last week, we published our first article by Lisa Wagner, who's known as the Rug Chick, a big legendary name in cleaning. And Mr. Bission's doing stuff with us, and we're beefing up our cleaning side, in other words, to tie in with the Experience. I think that what I found in the last year is, I don't know if it's accidentally or on purpose, but the R&R and the Experience are starting to slowly come together as one big media unit. And that's what we need. We want R&R to support the event. We want these events to support R&R. I don't want to make people's eyes roll in the back of their head with analytics and stuff like that, but our numbers of page views and things like that have literally doubled in the last 18 months where we were at. So I'm really excited. And that means we're putting up the content people want to read. And that's the point of the whole thing. And
that's funny too, because that's about when I came and started helping you guys out.
Exactly. Right.
I don't want to take all the credit. I go to your website and refresh it like 3,000 times a day just to get my numbers up on my videos.
We had I was talked into doing a special fireside chat at Christmas by our marketing director to talk about the new year. And we had a meeting. She goes, Mike, there's about 91 clicks on that in 1 week. I go, was it bad that 85 were from me and my family? I don't know if that matters. I kind of liked it. But
it's not about the views. It's not about the clicks. It's about the value you're bringing to the table. And it's something that I've had to overcome. And I've got probably close to 600 videos on YouTube. And it was tough. As much as I like talking and being on stage and being in front of the camera, when you it's a kick in the gut and a kick to your ego when you look back on your YouTube and you see 2 or 3 views. But what I will say is 99% of the clients that we bring in the restoration world do watch them. So if you're a restorer out there, you're somebody that you should be leveraging video, you should be doing it. And when you look at your social media stuff and you only see a couple views on it, do not fret, because people are paying attention. If you're genuine and you're really bringing value to the table, it's if you get 91, that's impressive.
It worked out pretty well. I think, and my content marketing background, I know a good friends who are big wigs in that since this started, may have coined the phrase. I don't know. He says he did. I don't know. Anyway, the key is consistency. And I try to talk to our contributors about that. You could do something a month, you could do something a week, but you got to do it exactly over and over. It's like a TV show in the old days. People are waiting to watch Seinfeld, as we mentioned, and so we decided we're going to be on Saturday this week. That doesn't work.
Yeah, it's not going to work that way. No, you're right. Consistency is the name of the game, and everything you're doing business-wise, and this is a business podcast and specific to restoration, but consistency in everything you do. Google loves to see consistency in your content. They love to see consistency in your reviews. People who are following you, if you're a content creator, consistency in what you do. And that's the name of the game, consistency and bringing that value and really believing in what you're doing. And you're really trying to help people. It's going to take some time. It does take some time to roll away, but I'm here to say, keep pushing it. Cause you're where you are now is probably where you wish you were a few years ago. So, and you don't even notice how fast that time goes by.
No, you're right. And going back to you're talking about why before. I mean, as from my standpoint, I've been in sales since forever. That's where I came from. So most of us are kind of money based until it takes a long time to realize, you know what, if we stop just worrying about how much money we're going to make and start worrying about doing value, that's going to happen. It's going to happen. I wish I'd learned that 30 years ago, but that's where we're at now with our business, where all of our listeners are at, and finding that why. I mean, I can't emphasize that enough is the key. Yeah, you don't worry about that. That just happens to come in at some point, right? The viewers come in and say, "Well,
chase your passion. Do what you're passionate about." And if you're passionate about helping people, the money and all that stuff comes. And if it's something you like to do, the old adage is, you never work a day in your life if you love what you're doing. So consistency is everything. Your systems that you build in your businesses are everything. And it seems like with R&R Magazine, you guys are really I don't want to say turning the corner, like you weren't around the corner already, but I think you guys have your fingers on the pulse of what people really need and want. And I think you guys are really shifting, especially I've noticed in the last few months or so, that things are really turning around and going to be changing a lot. So I'm excited. And I implore all of you, if you're not subscribed to their newsletter, go ahead and do that. I provide some content here and there for them on a video format, much like we do with the podcast. I do contribute articles here and there when I can write them. And there's so many industry titans out there that are way beyond me, way beyond my experience, that are contributing and just, kind of throwing some gas on the fire that you guys are building, that it's incredible. So definitely check out R&R Mag online. R&R Mag Online.
Magonline.com.
Yeah.
I've been on many podcasts. I'm voicing large disdain for that URL, but what we can do about it? If we change it now, we lose a lot of traffic. So we're just
no, you're good. I got you typing it in, and then if I don't clear my history, it automatically populates.
There you go. I'm not used to this boss thing still. Only been a couple of years, but I told my team, I told the R&R team, and also the Experience team that we need to turn a corner now. We need to be completely open and on board and honest. And look. R&R was in dire straits about 2 years ago. And I'm not saying I came in and just saved the day. That's not it at all. It just, we had with some new people coming in, some new contributors and new things, and people really did the work. And I'm really proud of where we're at now as opposed to 2 years ago. That's all I can say. I'm thrilled about it. And I think the point, not to talk about us really, the point of it is to provide content people want. And I can't say it enough. And it's working.
Yeah, that's great. And you guys are, I can't say enough about your publication. And that's the thing in this world, in this industry, things change so fast. And it's very easy to become complacent. It's very easy to become vanilla when you have a million things going on and you're trying to keep up with these changes. I mean, within the marketing company, I know that the book that I've written, it's like the 4th version of the same exact book because things change the second I push publish on the book. So I've given up on trying to get ahead of it again. And so I'm trying to create more valuable content that'll supplement it. But I applaud you. So R&R Magazine, the Experience Conference. Talk to me a little bit about the Experience event. If anybody has not been to it and they're hearing this for the first time, give me a little background, what they can expect to sign up, how to sign up. I've got some URLs I'm going to share if you guys want to tune into YouTube when we set up a replay. I'm going to throw it on the bottom right now on how to see the event and sign up or sponsor it. It's there on the bottom ticking now. So I'll give it to you, Mike. Talk to me about the Experience Conference and Exhibition.
Well, the first thing I'll tell you is that the early bird rates for attendees end on January 31st. I'm not sure when this is going to air, but it's going to be pretty soon after that. It ends.
Before that. Yep. Okay,
perfect. If you want to come to Chattanooga, sign up, save a few bucks. Who doesn't want that, right? Why not? It's just an easy way to go. And we have some, I'll send exhibit booths available too as well for right now. We're going to start to ramp that up soon. 3 days of fun and learning in Chattanooga, Tennessee this year. And of course, Vegas in September. As I mentioned before, hands-on is the key. We're going to have 2 big agenda days, but the middle day is going to be completely hands-on training. A full while the exhibit hall is open, the cleaning pavilion and the restoration pavilion will also be doing hands-on things. You can imagine the old flood house will be flooding things and restoring, and it's just a great opportunity to get to learn and get in there. Robust floor, expo floor, so a lot of the vendors will be there, and it's just. What I've learned from hanging around Larry and everybody is that it wasn't named this accidentally. They want to make it an experience.
Yes.
Fun time. I had Barry Costa on my podcast with the first guest, and I was setting him up for a joke, and I asked him a question. He came out with this, and what's your best experience? What's your best memory of the experience? And he came out and talked about where he lost a family member of cancer. This is like 20 years ago. And he came to the event and they let Larry and the team let Barry give a presentation based on his daughter's life. And I don't know something to say that, but it was his daughter. And, he said, I meant it. And everybody would hug me. And they really helped me heal. And I thought, Barry goes, this is kind of my family. Yeah. And I don't want to ever miss seeing my family again, in this case. And I go, you know what? First of all, I'm not going to tell that joke now. That was a beautiful story, right? But more importantly, that's what it is. They built a family atmosphere of fun, and we get to have a good time. We just announced. I want to tell you this. I'm very excited. There's going to be announced very soon. We put together an advisory committee for this show and maybe future shows. Some of the real leaders of our industry. As I've said before, I'm not. I'm where I'm at. I'll get there, but I need experts to help. Barry Costa, Lisa Lavender, Sean Biscione, Lisa Wagner, the rug chick, and Mark Kennedy, Anissa, our friend.
Yep. Shout out to Anissa and Kevin, Firehouse Education. Hope they got done with their house.
That's right. So we got some big names. I want people to be settled. Like, well, I don't know anything about BNP Media. I don't know this goofy Mike guy.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Look who we got. We got the leaders of the industry coming in to make sure this is run as well as it possibly can. And we're excited about that. If I can name drop a little more. Yeah, 2 guys who've never been the Experience or haven't been a long time. Our keynote speakers. The great Chuck Violand is going to be a keynote speaker. He has a new book out. Jim Pemberton is a cleaning legend, is going to be the other keynote. So we have some exciting new people coming to play with us. And it's exciting. It's all coming together at once, and we're very excited. The agenda's out. the advisory committee is going to be announced. We're doing tours of the Shaw plants. The event's going to be the 3rd through the 5th of April. On 2nd, we're taking tours to Shaw Flooring. There's There's 3 plants. It's going to be an all-day thing. There's 75 spots available. We're going to have that available for purchase very soon on our site. So that's really the main reason I think they booked Chattanooga, because it's 20 minutes away from that. Take advantage. Talk about hands-on learning. If you're into flooring and things like that, there you go. You'll be right in there with them.
Yeah, there's something for everybody. I know that, in the past, the Experience catered a lot towards the cleaning industry more, but I noticed the last couple of years, we've really geared into the restoration world. I mean, they go hand in hand. 9 times out of 10, they're doing both. So it's really cool to be able to see the growth, even from last year to now. And I'm following along with jealous rage because I can't be there, but it's really cool. So if you're a restorer, cleaning company, you want to elevate your game a little bit, you want to network, that's one of the best events you can attend. If you can't make Chattanooga, September in Vegas, I'm hearing nothing but great things about it. And what's not good about going to Vegas for a couple of days?
Yeah, no, that's
deal with your peers.
That event was always designed as the bigger blowout show, and it always will be. I have to call you on something though, Benjamin. It's not your fault, because you are. It's amazing since we took over the Experience, and you're a restoration guy. Every restoration person says, "Oh, the Experience is all about cleaning," And I swear to God, every cleaning person says, "Oh, it's all restoration." I want to say, I feel like I'm talking to people who watch Fox News and MSNBC. They're 2 different worlds, But your point was correct, though. It all works together. I mean, you clean, then you remediate, restore, and everything. So there is something for anybody.
Larry had a funny, when he was on the podcast, one of the things I remember that he mentioned is when I asked him about that, we're talking on the phone about when I was going to present, we did a whole marketing masterclass for digital marketing. And he said, we're 60% cleaning companies and we're 60% restoration companies. I started laughing. He goes, and that's the case. I mean, a lot of times these things go hand in hand, even the remodel side of it. I mean, a lot of companies are doing everything nowadays. And on another note, just the importance, and I talk about this a lot. We have what's called the digital omnipresence method for marketing restoration businesses. And it's really about getting out there in as many digital channels as possible. But a couple of the most important channels that I think a lot of people are missing out on for this word that they call competition is they're missing out on events, and they're missing out on joining associations that are involved in these events. And what you need to understand if you're in that place. And I know a lot of business owners are like, I'm not going to go there and talk to these guys, but there's so much knowledge and experience and camaraderie and networking that's available in these things that you can't look at anybody as your competition. Even if you've got a guy next door to you signing up and they're pulling leads away from you, they're your peers, and there's a lot you can learn from each other, good and bad. So you really should be open to coming to these events. I mean, go check them out, mingle, take advantage of all the different opportunities you guys are giving for networking and the drinking and stuff like that. If you're into that, or the food afterwards, I think that's very important for operating your business. Having problems with labor, you've got companies that you can talk to that are in your area that might be able to take some of your overflow, or you have a cleaning company that doesn't restore, that doesn't do mold, and now you've got another funnel of leads coming to your business. So you gotta go check them out. R&R Mag online /the Experience Conference. And if you can make it to Chattanooga, get up there, take some pictures and send them to me so I can be even more jealous that I'm not there. But I will be hopefully holding my new little baby girl that we're bringing into the world. So it'll be worth it.
You can have a picture of her when you're presenting at Caesar's Farm in Las Vegas.
Oh yeah, for sure. She'll be there handing out business cards.
Hey, can we touch on something you just said before? Because I agree with everything you just said. And I think that what we learned now, a couple of years past it during the pandemic, was how important it is to have human contact. Yeah. I mean, these are great. These Zoom calls, these interviews are wonderful. I love that we can do that now. It really add a new feature to our marketing. But hugging people and shaking hands and just pressing flesh and seeing people is important. That's what humans are about, man. And I unfortunately took that to make us realize that, I think, So, come to our show, come to our competitive shows. Maybe that's not the right word. Get out there. That's the way. That's where the community comes together. That's where your family comes together, your business family. And that's
you need to be able to rely on each other. And again, I think I can't say enough of the Experience Conference. So listen, you get early bird tickets up until January 31st. Yes. We're going to air much before that. So make sure if you have any questions, head on over to rnrmagonline.com. after you're done watching all the Ironclad marketing minutes, go ahead and check out the Experience button. If you're bored of hearing me talk, there's other places that I talk as well that you can go and get some insight into helping you run your restoration business a little bit better. Michael, I really appreciate your time today. Is there anything else that we can tell everybody before we wrap up today about the Experience, how to get in touch, anything that we're missing?
Just stay in touch with, if you want to exhibit at the Experience, stay in touch with myself or Darlene Balzano, which is back, by the way, spoiler, the one they wouldn't let work with me, and Scott Page, your sales team. And as far as attendees go, all the information is on our website, and we're also just very excited. And
follow that URL. There's a ton. I mean, the agenda's there, and I can speak from experience. I sat in on multiple workshops last May, I believe it was, and there's a lot you can learn. I mean, there's people there that have been in the industry for 30 years that were sitting in on some of these things, and we're just walking away like, wow, this was great. And hands-on is an understatement. I think there's so much going on. If I didn't have to spend so much time behind a booth, I think I would have went home with like 75 hats and like 700 other doodads. But again, I'm looking forward to Vegas. I'm looking forward to following along. I wish you guys nothing but success with this event. Restorers out there, cleaning companies, you need to check them out. If you can't make Chattanooga, Vegas is coming, and you guys are doing this bi-yearly anyways. So make sure you stay in tune with what R&R Magazine has coming up, as well as BNP Media and Experience events.
Thank you, Benjamin. Thank you. I'm going to thank Anissa for introducing me to you 2 years ago.
Anissa, we're going to shout you out. If you ever watch this, I'm going to be tagging you on LinkedIn in this video. Anissa and Kevin, that was actually, if I had to go back in 2023, that's probably my top episode, is getting to get to know them a little bit and what they have, because we're such kindred spirits in our why and why we do what we do. And there's so much I can learn from those two, and they're really cool. So I'm really again, that's why going to these events is great, because you get to sit and meet these people that are just, you never know, somebody can change your life.
No, exactly. You really don't. And it's just you gotta find new people all the time and continue to grow. So I already told, she's a made woman with us. When she came in, she's in. So
she's an OG. We call her OGs down here in South Florida.
That's right.
We can call them ORs, original restorers. But anyways, Michael, listen, I appreciate your time. I know you got a ton going on. Thank you so much. I can't thank you enough. We'll be putting this out there. Listen, we'll see you soon, I hope.
Yep.
You're in Naples. You're not too far from me, so maybe we'll be able to get together before April. Get
across Alligator Alley and have a beer. I can't wait.
Yes, sir. It sounds good, man. Well, listen, good luck to the Browns. Maybe next time we talk,
Dolphins are still in it, by the way.
I know
they're struggling, but hang in there. Come on.
Keep that third string team. Anyways, thanks for coming on, Mike. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Benjamin.